Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Old School, by Jeff Kinney. To Dad. Grown-ups are always talking about the good old days.
No, you did
And
it wrong. You have to read the top and then you have to read
okay, God, September, Saturday. Grown-ups are always talking about the good old days and how things were so much better when they were kids. But I think they're just jealous because my generation has all this fancy technology and stuff they didn't have growing up. Believe me, I'm sure when I have kids of my own, I'm going to be the exact same way my parents are now. When I was your age, we used our legs for getting around. Yeah, whatever, Pops. We're. Mom's always saying that when she was younger, it was great because everyone in the town knew each other. Knew everybody else. And it was like one giant family. But that doesn't sound so great to me. I like my privacy, and I don't really need anyone knowing my personal business. Howdy, neighbor. Greg Heffley taking bath. Mom says the problem with society the problem with society these days is that everyone's got their nose in a screen, and nobody takes the time to get to know the people who live around them. I don't really see eye to eye with Mom on that issue, though. Personally, I think a little separation is a good thing. Your leaves are in my yard. LOL, tap tap tap, tappity tap tap. Lately, Mom's been going around with a petition to get people to stop using their phones and electronics and gadgets for 48 hours.
Let's unplug
Let-
to reconnect. Electronics are cluttering our lives. Let's put down our devices for a weekend and get to know one another. Who's in?
1, 2, 3, 41, 42, 43.
That's how the alphabet goes.
Yeah. Mom needs 100 signatures before she can take the petition to town hall, but she's having trouble getting people to put their names on it. I'm just hoping she gives up on this idea soon, because it's kind of exhausting for the rest of us to pretend we don't know her. I really don't understand why Mom thinks we need to go backward anyway. From what I can tell, the old days weren't that much fun. If you think about it, you never see anyone in those black and white photos smiling. Say cheese, squeak squeak, Civil War. In the old days, people were just a whole lot tougher than they are today. But human beings have evolved, and now we need things like electronic toothbrushes and shopping malls and soft-serve ice cream to survive. I bet our ancestors would be pretty disappointed with the way we turned out, but once somebody invented air conditioning, there was really no turning back. We've gotten so spoiled that pretty soon we don't even have to leave our homes if we don't want to. Your burger is served. I say no mayo. In fact, the way we're headed, I'll bet in 1,000 years from now, human beings won't even have spines. Some people complain that all this technology has made it
Sound effect.
slither. Some people complain that all this technology has made us soft, but if you ask me, that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are all sports and luxuries nowadays that make people's lives better. Take baby wipes, for example. People were using regular toilet paper for some hundreds of years, and then all of a sudden, some genius came up with an idea that was a total game changer. What really amazes me that it took so long for people to come up with the idea. I seriously can't believe the guy who invented the light bulb didn't see baby wipes coming. And who kno- What are you doing? Oh God. Carson, no. And who knows what crazy thing he's gonna come in my room and beat me. Or you. Either one of us. And who knows what crazy thing someone's gonna come up with next to make our lives easier. Whatever it is, though, I'll be the first in line to buy it. But if Mom had her way, we'd be living like people did before there were computers and cell phones. Did he come out his room? He's gonna come in my room, Carson. Do you not know how to unlock my door? I'm just gonna keep reading. And I don't really want to imagine living in a world without baby wipes. Dad says when he was growing up, in the summertime, kids played outside all day until they got called home for dinner at night. Squeal, ding-a-ling-ding-ding, squirt, squirt, squirt. Well, that's pretty much the opposite of the way my summer went this year. I spent July and August at film camp, where all I did was watch movies in an air-conditioned theater for 8 hours a day. The main reason that I signed up for film camp was because I thought it was for people who are serious about movies like... Wait, what?
He's
Can you get
here.
my PS controller so I can pause the Family Guy? He's here? I hope he isn't here. But I found it was really just a place where parents could dump their kids off. Where parents could dump their kids off for some cheap babysitting. Shh, zzz, nom nom. The downside of spending that much time in a dark theater is that at the end of the day, it took a half an hour for my eyes to adjust to the sunlight. Exit, blink, blink. The other reason I signed up for film camp was to get out of the house. Ever since we got that pet pig, it hasn't been a lot of fun being home, especially not at dinner. Gobble, smack, slurp, chomp. For the record, I think it's a terrible idea letting the pig eat at the table, because it already thinks it's a human being. And the last thing we need is for it to think it's on equal footing with the rest of us. Right after we got the pig, Mom thought it would be fun to watch. Mom, I can't read. I'm dyslexic. I've been reading Diary of a Kid There Was No Candy. Right after we got the pig, Mom thought it'd be fun to teach it some tricks. So we would give the pig a cookie when it stood on its hind legs. Yay, bottle. But the pig learned to walk like that, and it hasn't been on all fours ever since. To make matters worse, my little brother Manny put a pair of shorts on the pig, so now it's like we're living in a house with a Disney character. Wobble wobble. Mom used to take the pig outside, but after it started walking upright, it decided it was too good for its leash. Mom was worried that if the pig ran off, we'd never find it, so she got it a collar with one of those GPS tracking chips in it. But every time Mom put the collar on the pig, within 5 minutes it would be back off. And don't even ask me how the pig did that, since pigs don't have thumbs.
They don't have thumbs.
So now the pig just comes and goes as it pleases, and who knows where it spends its time. What really stinks is that I have a curfew, but the pig doesn't.
I'm gonna read all these pages.
How long is this book?
A little while long.
204 pages. I'm on 14. I've been reading for 7 minutes.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. I think giving the pig too many privileges is a really bad idea. One day pigs will rule the world, and it'll be my family's fault for starting it all. I wouldn't really have an issue with a pig if it didn't interfere with my life, but I was late on the first day of school because Okay.
It's like audiobooks.
Look at the book. Oh my god, I wrote.
My name is Cleveland Brown, and I am proud to say.
Oh my god, I wrote in this. I wrote in.
Wait, no. It was not a bag. Mama.
With the pick of the house, I was.
We should get the book and read all the comics.
No, I think you have it. I think I gave it back to you.
Oh, I don't remember.
I wrote "help me" and just give me my money here. With the pig in the house, I was actually looking forward to school starting, but once I got there, I realized it was just the same old thing. Oh my god. But the main reason I signed up so that I could skip third period, which is music class with oh my epic. To give you an idea of
I'm not gay, Greg.
to give you an idea of how long Mrs. Grazino has been a music teacher, Dad had her when she was my age.
WTF? Child labor? You spelled child wrong.
Okay, child-led. And apparently spending 30 years teaching middle schoolers how to play a musical instrument does something to a person. Last week I met my homework buddy, this kid named Fru. I had no idea why he was even signed up for the program though, because he's one of those kids who can read scientific journals and college textbooks for fun. Frick you, Fru. Nerd. The first time we got together, Fru showed me his homework, which was some coloring and a word find. Fru said he didn't need any of my help, and then he asked to see my homework, and I had at least an hour of math problems and a geography assignment that would have taken me another 2 hours, but Fru whipped through it all about in 15 minutes. What? WTF? Child labor? Scribble, scribble, scribble. And it wasn't just fast, he was good. I turned in the assignments the next day, and when I got them back from my teachers, I had perfect scores.
Okay.
Look, you can't really read it because
Bag.
did I? I don't think I wrote. I think someone else.
I think you wrote fag in it. Do what you get it off Amazon? If people write stuff and they replace the perfume bottles with water.
At first, I felt a little bad about getting help from a third grade.
Bag. Yag. Yay. What does that say? Yag.
But then I realized that homework buddies are supposed to help each other out. So now, whenever me and Free get together, I just hand him a pile of assignments and let him do his thing. What does that say? Did I write in the?
I think Ricky did it.
He probably did.
Hell no.
He probably did.
That's what Ricky said.
He's probably the one who wrote in this.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
My only complaint about Fru is that sometimes he's too helpful. He's been getting bored with my homework.
Did he give you this book?
No, I bought this.
He probably did.
The other, actually no, I took this from the library and I never returned it.
No, he didn't.
I did.
Really?
Yeah, I have books from 2nd grade that I never returned, and I'm.
Yeah, I have books that I never returned either.
Yeah, and now I'm getting in trouble for never returning them. The other day, he wrote a paper and attached it to my regular homework for extra credit, but luckily I checked it before handing it in. For a while, I was just glad to be getting some homework help, but recently I've been thinking that since I'm the one who discovered Fru, I deserve some kind of credit if he goes on to do big things. As if our house wasn't crowded enough, now Grandpa's living with us. They raised the rent in Leisure Towers, and he couldn't afford to live there anymore, so Mom invited Grandpa to move in with our family. Dad wasn't so hot on the idea, though, even though Grandpa is his own father, but Mom says it will be just like the old days when there were 3 generations lived under the same roof. I need water. I think Mom has this rosy image of the way things used to be, but I have a totally different picture of what it must have been like back then.
Oh my gosh, Meg!
I was actually okay with Grandpa moving in with us, until I realized that what it meant for me. Mom let Grandpa pick any bedroom he wanted, and of course he chose mine. Oh my god. Carson, look.
Get him read those books? Read them. I swear, Ricky did that. I know Ricky did that.
I'm definitely sure he did. That meant I needed to find a new place to sleep. My first thought was to go to the guest room, but I forgot that's where the pig stays, and there's no way I'm sharing the pull-out couch with an animal. I wrote out Roderick's room right away because he might actually be a step down from the pig. My only other choice was the room with Manny, so I got out the airbed and set it up on his floor, but sleeping in Manny's room has its own problems. Mom reads Manny a bedtime story every night, and sometimes they're really long. In fact, lately I think Manny's just been picking longer books, so he can just get on my nerves. Things have been a little tense ever since Grandpa moved in. You can tell he doesn't really approve of the way Mom and Dad are raising his kids, even though he never actually comes out and says it. Carson.
Oh, but. Skip.
And it's... Mom is...
How is that? What is that? I broke your computer.
Mom's been trying to potty train Manny forever, and she's experimenting with something called no pants after dinner, and it's exactly what it sounds like. But what's supposed to happen is that when Manny feels the urge to go, he'll run to the bathroom. Manny just prances around all night with nothing on below the waist, and eventually he ducks behind the recliner in the family room. Carson. Another thing.
Kiss fart?
And I don't think Dad's a huge fan of no pants after dinner. But I can tell he's even more uncomfortable with Grandpa being here to witness it. It's pretty obvious having Grandpa around it is really stressing Dad out. And every time one of us kids screws up, it just makes Dad even more tense. What seems to annoy Dad the most is when one of us kids asks Mom to do something that we should be able to do ourselves. Yesterday, I asked Mom to open a microwave burrito for me because I always have trouble with those plastic packages. But Dad jumped all over my case. He said if I was stranded on a desert island with 1,000 microwave burritos, I'd starve to death because I couldn't figure out how to open them on my own. Fumble, fumble. I told Dad that the chances of me getting stranded on a desert island with 1,000 microwave burritos was pretty slim, but he said I was missing the point. He my he said if I don't learn how to do things myself, I'm not going to be able to survive in the real world. Another thing Dad hates is how Mom still helps me get ready for school in the morning. She picks up my clothes the night before, and she has a chart hanging in the kitchen to help me stay on track. I guess Dad was pretty embarrassed by the chart, but the other day he took it down. But without that thing to guide me through the morning, bless you. I got the order of things. Oh shoot! I got the order of things all wrong. And ended up wearing socks over my shoes. These days, I think Dad is just waiting for me to screw up. This morning, I forgot to put a cap on the cap on toothpaste, and Dad is ready to pounce. I think Dad. I didn't think Dad was. Wait. What? I didn't think it was a big deal, but Dad gave me this long speech about how little things have big consequences. I'm gonna unplug, or I'm gonna take my mic out of this thing. This might be painful to listen to. Oh, I gotta unplug the mic. I gotta unplug the microphone to take it out.
Was that Milo or?
It was the microphone. I guess I'm not moving this thing. Did it unplug? Probably. Oh well. I'm gonna be reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid and no one is gonna hear it. He said if I was a kid growing up in the frontier times and it was my job to tighten the bolts on the wagon wheels,
Let's sing the ABC song. ABC.
I'm trying to read Diary of a Wimpy Kid old school. Then the wheels would fall off and our family would get eaten by wolves. I thought Dad was being kind of dramatic, but it did make me feel a little guilty about that toothpaste cap.
Jason, spell I-cut with 2 T's.
ICUTT. I'm not the only one who's been getting on Dad's nerves, though. Lately, Roderick's been getting under Dad's skin, too. Whenever Roderick needs gas for his van, he hits Mom up for money. But a few nights ago, he made the mistake of doing it in front of Grandpa. Dad said that from now on, my mic's falling over. No, don't fall. Why does it keep falling? No. I keep hitting. Okay, there we go. It's tightened. Dad said that from now on, Roderick has to pay for his own gas. And when Roderick asked how he was supposed to do that, Dad said it was time for him to get a job. So Mom helped Roderick go through the help wanted section of the newspaper to find him a job that doesn't require any skills or experience. They finally found an ad for a restaurant that's about 15 minutes away from our house. Wanted, seeking motivated individuals to join the team of the old-timey ice cream parlor. I went to the old-timey ice cream parlor for Riley's last birthday party, and that experience may have permanently ruined ice cream for me. They have this one dessert for the menu called the feeding trot, which is 40 scoops of ice cream, all along one tray. And when you mix different flavors of ice cream together, it just turns into gray slop. The old-timey ice cream parlor is one of those places where the whole staff comes to your table to sing for your birthday. That makes me really uncomfortable because it's pretty obvious you'd rather be doing anything else. It's your birthday. It's your birthday, and we're here to say we hope your day is dandy in your old-fashioned way.
What's that? What was that say?
Buffed.
Who took the time to go through every single thing? What?
Roderick had an interview at the restaurant earlier in the week. And believe it or not, he got the job. Saturday was his first night of work, and Mom thought it would be a good idea for the rest of us to surprise Roderick and cheer him on. But when we got to the restaurant, we couldn't find him anywhere. Mom was pretty worried, but we eventually found him out back. Mom wasn't happy that Roderick was on trash duty, and she gave the manager a piece of her mind. But the manager said that Roderick was an entry-level employee, and that everyone who works at the restaurant has to pay their dues. I'm pretty sure Roderick was hoping we all just go home and leave him alone after that, but Mom wanted to stick around. And when Roderick went on this 15-minute break, we hung out with him in the employee lounge. Roderick spent the rest of his night taking the trash from the kitchen out to the dumpster. And I guess Mom wanted to see him one more time before he left, so she told our waiter it was Manny's birthday, and the waiter called the whole staff to our table. But I wish Mom didn't go and do that, because there's something about the smell of garbage juice that really ruins your appetite. And if you're feeling hungry, you're at the perfect place. Now just blow that candle so you can stuff your face. Lately, Mom's been trying to get Grandpa to tell us kids about what life was like when he was growing up. Grandpa says that when he was young, they didn't have televisions or anything like that, so kids spent most of their time outdoors playing games like Kick the Can. Grown-ups are always talking about playing Kick the Can. One time me and Rowley actually gave it a try to see what the big deal was, but we quit about 30 seconds. Want to go inside and play Twisted Wizard? Yeah. Dad says that when he was a kid, he and his best friends, Gills, would just use their imagination and play all day in the woods. Well, me and Riley tried using our imaginations once, but Riley's dad just put an end to it before he could even get along. Riley Jefferson! You put that stick down! You put it down that stick!
You put down that stick! Right this instant, sir!
Dad said today's parents are overprotective, and that when he was a kid, he and Gills roamed free and never bothered to tell their parents where they were going. But Mom said it was a lot safer back in those days, and now it's too dangerous for kids to be off on their own without adult supervision. What are you doing, Carson? Lock the door. And that's so neat. When he was in middle school, he and Gills buried stuff all over the town so that if they got cornered, they could fight their way out. But Grandpa had a different version of things. He said that Dad and Gills raided the kitchen drawer for silverware, and that's what they stashed all over the neighborhood. When Dad's mother realized her forks and knives were missing, she made the boys dig them all up and bring them back. After that, Dad and Gills got their hands on some plastic utensils, but they got into an argument over whether or not a spork could be used for self-defense, and things turned out ugly. Gills told his mother what Dad did, and Well, is that a Queen song on Family Guy? See, that's the problem with putting too much stock in the old days. You remember all the good stuff, but you forget about the time you got spanked by your best friend's mom. I guess I thought Grandpa would live with us for a while and then find a place that was cheaper than Leisure Towers, but now I'm starting to worry that's permanent. And that's not a good thing, because I'm not sure how much longer I can be Mandy's roommate. For one thing, it's not dignified to share a room with a person who doesn't wear pants after dinner. And Grandpa's almost just as bad. When he moved out of Leisure Towers, his girlfriend, Darlene, broke up with him. Lately, he's just been moping around the house in a bathrobe, which means I can't really have friends over. I figured the sooner Grandpa's back in the game, the sooner he moves out. So I've been showing Grandpa how to do online dating and help him break out his funk in the hood. Ha ha ha. I think I've created a monster, though. Now Grandpa's on the computer 24 hours a day, and he's got at least 50 relationships going simultaneously. Don't even ask him on how he keeps track of who's who. Things are starting to turn around for Roderick, too. He told Mom that he got a promotion at work, so of course tonight we had to pile onto the car and show my support. I'm not sure if I'd call Roderick's new position a promotion, though. They've got him dressing out as old-timey Tobias, the restaurant's mascot. Apparently, the guy who had the job last got fired for being seen without his head on, and I'm guessing when it comes to mascots, it's a huge no-no. Old-timey Tobias is supposed to walk around the restaurant and go from table to table, making little kids happy, but as far as I can tell, he has the opposite effect. In fact, when kids seem to hate old-timey Tobias, when we got here tonight, Roderick was getting hit from every side. You're gonna be like Quackity. You're not gonna get your account back until you make a video on it.
No, like they haven't responded to my email whatsoever.
Oh. Dang.
They got suspended because of bank fraud.
Bank fraud? You got your account suspended for bank fraud?
Bank fraud, Jason.
Bank fraud. I've been reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid for over 25 minutes. Roderick told Mom that his manager warned him if he's ever going to get caught without his Tobias head on, he'd be fired on the spot. Luckily, one of the eyes on the costume's head comes out, which is the only way Roderick was able to stay hydrated. I'm starting to wonder if the guy who had the job dressing up as old-timey got fired on purpose. If I had to bet on how long Roderick will last, I'd give him 2 weeks tops. Off of the buzz at school has been about this big trip to Hard Scrabble Farms that's coming up next month. When you get to my grade, the whole class goes on a week-long trip to this place where you sleep on a log cabin and learn about nature and hard work. I'm sure it's a blast if you're into that sort of thing, but I've already decided I'm going to be the one kid who stays back when everybody else heads off on the trip. And while the rest of my classmates are sweaty out in the woods, I'll be out in the school library enjoying all the comforts of the modern world. Mom's been trying to get me to change my mind because she thinks I'll regret not going. I really doubt that's going to happen, though. I've heard horror stories from kids who went away to Hard Scrabble Farms. Bless you. And I remember the letters Roderick sent home when he was there. In fact, Roderick seemed kind of traumatized by the whole experience. When he got back from the trip, he crawled into bed and stayed there for an entire weekend. Today was the deadline for picking who you wanted to room with. And at lunch, everyone was scrambling to get into Good Cabin. I was glad I already decided I wasn't going because I didn't want to deal with all that drama. I felt bad for Rowley because he was counting on bucking with me. When I told him I wasn't going on the trip, he went around seeing if anyone had an opening in their cabin. By the end of the lunch period, things weren't looking good for him. I can't really worry about Rowley, though, because I've got my own problems to deal with. Monday, Mom and Dad got a letter from the school saying they had to come in for a special parent-teacher conference. I've been worried sick all week because I thought I must have forgotten to cross for his name off of one of my homework assignments and I was in trouble, but that wasn't it at all. The reason school asked Mom and Dad to come in was to tell them that my homework grades have improved so much they're putting me in harder classes. Well, I'm sure Frew will appreciate having more challenging homework, but he can't be there to help me during the test, so unless I can figure out how to sneak him into school, I'm never going to pass. When Mom and Dad came home from the parent-teacher conference, Mom said we needed to celebrate the good news. Of course, that meant going to Old Timer Ice Cream Parlor. I was getting a little sick of spending every night at Roderick's work, and I think Grandpa was feeling the same way. He told Mom ice cream is making his gums hurt, and I'm gonna have to and he was gonna stay home this time around. I tried using the same excuse, but Mom was dead set on us going. When we got to the restaurant, though, Roderick was nowhere to be found. The manager told Mom Roderick never showed up for work. That sent Mom to a panic, and we got back into the van, and we got back to in the van, and in the van to look for him. We drove all over the place, and we finally found Roderick walking around the side of the highway. When he pulled over, Roderick got in the van and explained what happened. He said that there was going to be a traffic jam on the highway, and he was going to be late for work. So he got into a carpool lane where he could go a lot faster. But the rule for the carpool lane is that you need to have at least 2 people in your vehicle. Roderick made it look like old-timey Tobias was sitting next to him on the passenger seat. Unfortunately, some eagle-eyed cop pulled him over. The cop wasn't amused and gave Roderick a ticket for $100, and we found all sorts of things wrong with the van, like a broken taillight, an expired inspection sticker. After that, the cop had Roderick's van towed and left him stranded on the side of the road. So Roderick was a huge target for all kinds of kids who were stuck in a traffic jam. Mom told Dad to drive home so she could throw Roderick's costume in the washing machine. But when we got to our street, there were cars parked up and down on both sides. I need water. I'm gonna get some water. Okay, I'm back. I'm back to read some more Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
How are you gonna upload this to YouTube?
Mom told Dad to drive home so she could throw Roderick's costume in the washing machine, but when we got to our street, there were cars parked up and down on both sides. There were even cars parked on our lawn, which was pretty strange. We had to park the van on at the bottom of the hill and walk up our street. When we finally got to our yard, you could hear loud music coming from the house. And when we opened the front door, there was a raging party going outside, or inside. We had to push through the crowd to find Grandpa, who was out back in our old hot tub, and from the looks of things, he sang with the time of his life. Dad kicked everyone out of the house, which took forever, mostly because no one was in a big hurry to leave. When everyone was gone, Dad lit into Grandpa for having a party. Grandpa said he didn't plan on having a party. He tried to invite one lady from his dating site over to watch a movie, but he must have actually accidentally hit send all. And then everyone showed up at once. Dad was really mad, but it must have been awkward for him to come up with a punishment for his own father. I guess he couldn't think of anything better, so he just put Grandpa on timeout. I wish he would have done a better job of cleaning out the party guests when he got home, though. Because there were a few stragglers in Manny's room who didn't poke their heads out until they thought the coast was clear. Ever since Grandpa had this party, Dad hasn't been willing to leave him home alone, and when Dad can't be there to watch him, he makes one of us do it. Grandpa's supposed to sit in timeout for an hour a day to work up his punishment, but he likes to do that in front of the television instead of the corner. So if you're on Grandpa duty, you have to watch whatever he wants to watch. Up your nose with a rubber hose, ha ha ha. But during the school day, Grandpa's home alone. I think.
No more pictures? No more.
And I'm sure there's more. But during the school day, Grandpa's home alone. I think.
58 freaking pages in. There's 200.
Yeah. But during the school day, Grandpa's home alone.
30 minutes.
And I think Dad's nervous he's gonna have another party. So he went out and bought one of those webcams to make sure that there isn't any funny business going around while he's at work. I don't know where he put it exactly, but what I do know is that he's not. Can you not?
I was pressing it to my Family Guy. You're gonna upload this to YouTube.
Why?
It's Family Guy in the background.
I'm sure the mic isn't even picking it up, and if it is, then it's just a compliment to the reading of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Yeah, I'm all for technology, but not so when it used against me. I don't like having a camera in the house because nowadays there are cameras everywhere. And if you ever do something embarrassing in a public place, trust me, it's gonna get recorded. But the worst thing is cell phone cameras, because nowadays everybody's got one. Last summer when I was getting out of the town pool, my bathing suit fell down a little. And everyone saw it happen. And before I even dried off, the pictures are posted all over the internet. These days you can't even get into trouble for taking a picture of yourself. A few months ago we went to brunch after church, and when we left the restaurant, I felt like I might have spinach in my teeth. I wasn't anywhere near a mirror, so I just borrowed Mom's cell phone to take a picture of myself, just to make sure. But some lady in front of me thought I just took a photo of her, and she wouldn't let us leave until she looked through the pictures on Mom's phone to make sure I hadn't.
My name is Cleveland Brown.
And now that I think of it, that might have been what started Mom's electronics free idea to begin with. Speaking of which, Mom's got all the signatures she needed to make her petition to town hall. The way Mom got all the signatures she needed, the way she got them was by intercepting all the partygoers as they were leaving our house the other night. After Mom took the petition to the town hall, the leaders had to vote and make it official. So this Saturday, the whole town is going to voluntarily unplug for the weekend. Mom made it her mission to get the word out to as many people as possible. I'm trying to keep a low profile until this whole thing is over, but Mom hasn't been making it easy. I think cutting ourselves off from the outside world is a bad idea. If there's a zombie apocalypse or something big like that, we're gonna be the last ones to know. As part of this electronics-free weekend, everyone's supposed to come down to the town park tomorrow for a voluntary cleanup. But it's gonna take a lot more than one afternoon to make a dent in that mess. These days, the park looks something out of a movie where there's been a nuclear war. The park used to be nice, but things went downhill after when the town ran out of money. The reason, the main reason was because they voted to build a one-way cell phone only path through, right, my brain, one-way cell phone only path through the park, since half the time people on the regular path weren't watching where they were going. So all the money that was supposed to go to regular cleanup went to this new path for people who wanted to use their electronic devices while they walked. But the project got too expensive and they had to cancel it before they were finished. Before they finished the footbridge over the creek. The park finally got the park got really run down after that, and families stopped coming once teenagers took over. So if the people organizing this cleanup are smart, the first thing they'll do is find an exterminator that specializes in teenagers. I have no idea what time I woke up this morning because the clock on Mandy's dresser is unplugged. In fact, everything in the house is unplugged, which goes to show that Mom was taking this electronics-free thing pretty literally. The next thing I noticed is that there were a lot of people. There were a lot of people out walking in the neighborhood, so I guess everyone had decided to get into the old-time spirit. I was planning on just relaxing and reading comic books on the couch all day, but Dad said I should take advantage of all the foot traffic. He said when he was a kid, he and Gills opened a lemonade stand and earned enough money to buy them a new skateboard, and I said I thought a lemonade stand was a great idea. Dad surprised me by handing over $20 in seed money to help me get started. I knew I was going to need a business partner, so I called Rowley and told him to come down. I figured if we get along looking up the recipe for lemonade on the internet, but Mom had hidden the power cord to the computer. I was a little embarrassed to ask Dad, so me and Rowley decided to wing it. I knew we needed lemons for sure, so we rode our bikes down to the convenience store and bought out their whole supply. When we got back home, we didn't know the exact number of lemons to put in the pitcher, so we just went on the high side just to be safe. I was pretty sure the only other ingredient for the lemons besides water is sugar, but we didn't know how much of that we were supposed to use, so we just eyeballed it. What? Hope Adolf. Dang. I thought after that we were pretty much good, but then Dad came downstairs to sell that we were doing and told us we got it all wrong. Dad said first of all the green lemons we bought were actually limes, so we had to get rid of those. Then he said to make the lemonade we needed, we had to cut the lemons in half and squeeze them into the water, which would have been nice to know at the beginning. But Riley is too scared to cut the lemons because he said they make his eyes water. I told him he was getting lemons confused with onions. He wasn't budging though. I knew I had to do something about it or he wouldn't help out. So I dug around the garage until I found a mask Riley could cover his eyes with. Once Riley calmed down, we started cutting the lemons, which was a lot harder than I thought it would be. When I sliced into the first lemon, I got a shot of juice right in my eye. It stung like crazy, and I could barely see. Riley took the snorkel out of his mouth and tarted it with the whole "I told you so" stuff. After I got my vision back, we squeezed all of our lemons into the water and set up our stand on the sidewalk. A few people stopped by, but it was just to criticize everything we were doing. One lady told us we need to stir lemonade and mix in the sugar better. But even after we did that, she wouldn't make a purchase. Another guy who tasted our lemonade complained it was too sweet. The next three people said the same thing, so I dumped out half of the pitcher and added more water, but people didn't like where I got it from. One guy had a problem with the fact that we were using the same glass for every customer, even though I explained to him that we were rinsing it out after every use. We got tired of sitting out in the hot sun and decided a lemonade stand would work better, just as well as a self-serve business. So we put out a jar where people could pay for what they drank. But the second you set up an honor system, somebody's got to go and ruin it for everyone. we realized we were just gonna have to suck it up and man the lemonade stand full time. So we got another glass from the kitchen cabinet and headed back outside. I started to notice that people walking up to the hill looked a lot. What are you doing? Are you gonna go to my room again? So wait, I started to notice that people walking up the hill looked a lot thirstier than people walking down it. So we posted a new pricing policy to take full advantage. A couple people thought our jar was for tips, and when they dropped in some loose change, after that we started pushing the tips because any money we brought in that way was 100% profit. I was starting to feel good about things until a kid named Cedric Cunningham was setting up his own lemonade stand a few houses down. And it was pretty obvious he had help from his parents because his stand made ours look like a joke. See, this is the problem when you have an original idea. So I offered Cedric $2 to take his lemonade stand down, and he agreed to it. But a minute later, he set up his stand again, and this time directly across the street from us. I was getting pretty annoyed because we were running out of lemonade, and I knew Dad wasn't giving us any more money for ingredients. That's when I realized if we sold water instead of lemonade, we would save ourselves a lot of hassle. Plus, it was pretty obvious Cedric had cornered the lemonade market, especially after he put up his new sign. But I knew if we were going to sell water, we'd have to make it seem extra special to make people to pay for it. So I came up with an awesome sounding name, and then I filled Mandy's baby pool with water so he wouldn't run out for a while. If we were going to call the stuff fitness water, we'd have people know it actually worked. So I had Riley do some jumping jacks and push-ups in front of our stand. The problem is Riley's not in the best shape, so it was bad luck for our company. Luckily, a guy who was actually in shape came up with the rider for that, and after paying him a few bucks, if he told everyone he got that way by drinking our energy fitness water. But I guess he had better things to do because he told us he wasn't interested. Unfortunately, a guy walking down the hill overheard us, and he said he'd be happy to endorse our product. Not to be mean or anything, but this guy definitely did not have the look we were after. So to make him go away, I paid him $3 to tell people he didn't drink our stuff. I realized we were still competing for beverages dollars with the kid across the street, and that if we were going to make any real money, we needed to move our operation to a whole new market. And I knew just the place, the town park. With a big cleanup going around down there, I figured there would be a ton of thirsty volunteers. So me and Riley loaded up the wagon with as much as our product as we could carry and headed down the hill.
I'm taking over reading the story now. Yeah, I should go over reading the story.
Okay. Okay.
Huh?
You're on page 81. Just read that.
Unfortunately, a guy walking down the hill overheard us, and he said he'd be happy to endorse our product, Energy Fitness Water. Not to be mean or anything, but this guy definitely did not have the look we were after. So to make him go away, I paid him $3 to tell people he didn't drink our stuff. I realized we were still competing for beverage dollars when the kid across the street, and that if we were going to make any real money, we needed to move our operation to a whole new market. And I knew just the place, the town park. With the big cleanup going on down there, I figured there would be a ton of thirsty volunteers. So me and Riley loaded up a wagon with as much of our product as we could carry and headed down the hill. Slosh, slosh, trip, trip, halfway to the park, Riley said he was dehydrated and needed a drink. I didn't want to stop, but he looked like he was going to pass out. So I let him take a bottle and made a note to dock his pay later on. Guzzle, guzzle. When we got down to the park, it seemed like the whole town was there. Everyone was working really hard and it was pretty hot out. As a bonus, the water fountain was broken, which means people didn't have any real options for quenching their thirst. So we really knew we were going to make a killing selling our stuff. Fortunately, smack! Fortunately, Mom spotted us right away and asked what we were up to. I told her we were going to sell our fitness water to anyone who's willing to shell out a few bucks. But Mom said it was tacky to profit off a bunch of volunteers who were sacrificing their Saturday to clean up the park. I told her everybody who drank our water would be able to volunteer twice as hard, and the whole cleanup would go a lot quicker. While me and Mom were arguing about this, the ladies who were working on the flower bed totally raided our supplies. Before we could do anything about it, they had poured our whole inventory of fitness water into the ground, like it was just some cheap junk. Did a quick calculation, figured that there was $200 in lost profits seeping into her, but those ladies just went back to their pointing like it was no big deal. Still, it wasn't too late for me and Raleigh to turn this thing around. We gathered up the empty bottles and headed down to the creek for a refill. Mom stepped in her way. She told me and Raleigh she wanted us to help the volunteers with the cleanup. It is some odd to us to get started. Explained that we were businessmen, and real businessmen don't work for free. Before us. No. I explained that we were businessmen, and real businessmen don't work for free. But then I was even done talking. Raleigh was on his hands and knees planting perennials. I knew I had to get out of there as quickly as possible, or I'd get roped in, too. But Mom was one step ahead of me. She said when I was little, she used to take me to the park every day, and that those were her most special memories of the two of us. She told me if we didn't clean the park, other moms wouldn't be able to have the same kind of precious moments with their kids. See, Mom knows exactly. And that's the reason I found myself racking leaves for free instead of making a truckload of money. The rake Mom gave me was a piece of junk, though. But when I asked for a new one, she said everyone was doing their best with what they had. It took me a half hour to scrape together a ready pile of leaves, but then a bunch of little kids came tearing it through and then did all my hard work. Whee! Whee! Rake. Don't ask me why. People brought their little kids. No, I'm not reading this whole thing. Okay, fine, I will. I just need to look at my Discord for, like...
If you want me to read it, just tell me.
Okay. I'm just gonna quickly put it on.
Don't put it on the keyboard.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna shut it down. Okay. Okay. Okay, Jason, I'm gonna read some anti-Semitic text then. Okay?
Are you gonna read the...
No, I'm not. I'm reading. I'm gonna add a little bit of mix to the look, okay? It's gonna be some really cool stuff. It's a beautiful day outside. Oh, when did I make this?
It's a beautiful day outside. Oh my god. Don't read that.
I'm not.
Don't read that.
I made that.
Don't read that.
What did I? Oh, it was in November. No wonder. Oh, nope. I'm trying to find it. Oh, I found it. My name is Cleveland. (1863) Calamity. HAC's race has been... Okay. Yeah, okay. I was just gonna read it. Project rate. It's HZ 44,100. Snap to. Off. Audio position. 00H. 50M. 17, 18, point 19, point 20, point 21, point 22, point 23, point 24, point 25, point 26, point 27, point 8. Okay. 1 point. A bunch of them were playing in a pile of fertilizer. And someone had to chase them out of there. Hey, Huggy, ha! Jason, what are you gonna do with this when you're done? No! Then all your effort would have been for nothing.
I'm gonna upload it. Okay, fine. I won't burn it.
Upload it to where?
YouTube.
It's gonna take way too long to upload this shit.
So?
So?
I don't care. It's worth it.
Okay. I'm gonna reveal your address while I'm at it then.
You can just watch Family Man.
Okay. Well, let's see how far you can get. Then. Okay.
I'm already on the first
And electric demon! Yes! Within 10 minutes, they had organized everyone at the park cleanup into separate teams, with a Girl Scout in charge of each one. Grr! R! Period splat? That's what it says. My team was responsible for what someone wrote in. My team was responsible for raking leaves in the playground area. The charge of my group was a brownie. What? It was a little embarrassing, but to be honest with you, I was happy! The Girl Scouts came in and whipped everyone into shape. Every time I've seen the Girl Scouts get involved with the project, I've been impressed. A few months ago, the town wanted to build a... Okay, you know what? I can't sing this. I can't read this. So I'm gonna put on something else, okay? Something different, something new. Look at little Tim trying to write a viral song. He looks a lot.
I'll just read the book first.
No, I'll read it.
Get out.
No.
Get out. Get out.
Christian?
Get out.
Get out, Christian. You can't play.
Okay, you can take my controller. Also, you have 1 health left, and yeah.
You really suck at this game.
My team was My team was responsible for raking in the leaves in my playground area, and the girl in charge of my group was a brownie. If you want to learn the controls, just smash the buttons.
No, I understand it.
It's like Sonic, you have a homing attack. I didn't actually know you could hit those guys.
What are you supposed to do?
Just kill the mafia members. I don't think... Just kill the one... This has been going on for 50 minutes. My team, it was a little embarrassing, but to be honest with you, I was happy the Girl Scouts came in and whipped everyone into shape. But every time I've seen the Girl Scout... Oh, God. That's Mustache Girl. When they turn red, you have to homing attack them. But then the Girl Scouts swooped in and built the whole thing on a Sunday afternoon. I'll tell you, if you put a group of boys my age in charge of something like that, nothing good would come out of it. Especially if there were power tools involved. Even though they were at the town park to work, the Girl Scouts weren't gonna let an opportunity to do some fundraising pass them by. They set up a stand to sell cookies, and one of their finest customers... You just gotta... It says watch out. Just avoid the avoid the barrels. You're gonna die. Oh my god, you can dash with L1, or... You're so bad.
Shut up. You said the hard mode?
No, you can't set the difficulty.
What? Why is the first boss so difficult?
This isn't even the first boss. This is the first mini-boss, I think.
Well, that's a little embarrassing. Got the mafia.
Just don't get hit. Wow, you're so bad at hat in time. I was glad the Girl Scouts... No. After an hour of raking, I was worn out and wanted to go home, but it was clear they weren't letting anyone go until the last leaf was bagged. Another person in my group who seemed a little worn out was my homework buddy, Fru. Other people figured out how smart Fru is, and a bunch of people, grown-ups, started bugging him for stuff they'd usually get from their phones. I noticed that every half hour the Girl Scouts rotated from group to group. So during a changing of the guard, I saw my opportunity and took it. I knew exactly where I was headed to, the creek. When I was on the swim team and yeah, Gears for Breakfast is Soviet. When I was on the swim team in first grade, Dad used to drop me off at the town pool every day. But the minute he drove away, I'd run down to the creek and catch minnows until practice was over. I'd always make sure to get back in the pool before Dad came to pick me up, and I'd jump in at the last second so it looked like I'd been swimming the whole time. But once Dad came really early to watch me practice, and I guess I got carried away catching minnows. So I ended up getting to the pool after Dad, and I got busted. Today I figured I'd just take a quick breather, but down by the creek and get back to work. But 30 seconds after I got there, I heard some crashing through the bushes. It turns out Fruit with the L2, the back button, the other one. Yeah, that one. No. He didn't even do any damage. He did a homing attack this one when they turned red. I think they're broken. They're not attacking.
How do you crouch?
With R2. You can crouch walk. Is he actually gonna do any damage? He's not. You just let go of it.
I have let go.
Oh, I get. You're gonna die. Please don't die.
No, you gotta read the book, dude.
Okay, I'll read the book. First said he couldn't handle the pestering from the grown-ups a second longer. And when I saw me leave, he thought I had the right idea. While you were talking, we heard something big coming our way. I thought it might have been a bear, but I was pretty shocked to see that it was one of the community service guys. In fact, I knew this guy. His name was Billy Rother. He used to hang out in our basement when Roger's band practiced. What?
Keep right.
A month or so ago, I heard Roger telling one of his friends that Billy got caught stealing a pack of sour gummy worms at the convenience store. I wasn't really happy this guy had followed me to my hiding spot. I told Mario Galaxy.
Whoa, dude, it was the exact same timing. Oh, she's American.
I am American. I told Billy he should go back to the park before he got. But Billy said he was making a run for it, and he was never going back to community service. Then Billy started blurbering about how when he was little, his mom bought a pack of gummy worms for him and his brother to share, but his brother wouldn't give him a single worm and ate the whole pack. Billy said the only reason he stole from the convenience store was so he could finally have a pack of sour gummy worms for himself. I was getting really uncomfortable listening to this guy go on and on.
Nurse.
What are you gonna?
You make your doo-doos, Joe?
Shut up.
You make your doo-doos?
I said shut up! There's no doo-doos today!
Okay. But all of a sudden, that brownie appeared out of nowhere and totally caught me off guard. My instincts kicked in and I ran. Fern and Billy saw me take off and they were right on my heel. Family Guy Peter got mail. What the heck? My instincts kicked in and I ran. Fru and Billy saw me take off and they were right on my heels. But the brownie was carrying a whistle. And the next thing I knew, the whole Girl Scout troop was in hot pursuit. I started to run. No, I started to run faster when I realized me and Fru might get in serious trouble for harboring a fugitive. I only got 70 pages left. I didn't know if the Girl Scouts had actually had the authority to arrest anyone, but I wasn't gonna stick around to find out. For all I knew, there was something they needed to do to earn one of their badges. Once the chase was on, Billy took the lead. It has been, Dumbo. It was pretty obvious he had experience with this kind of thing because he seemed to know what he was doing. After a while, we were able to put some distance between ourselves and the Girl Scouts, and we could barely hear the whistle. So we stopped for a minute to catch our breath. Okay. Billy said that we were going to need our energy to stay ahead of the Girl Scouts. Then he took out a few rolls of Thin Mints that we were tucked away in his jumpsuit and split them up between us. I assumed he'd paid for those cookies, because if he didn't, I don't want to know. After we fueled up on cookies, Boy said he should ditch all our clothes because if they had used dog to track us, we could throw them off our trail. Then it dawned... Carson, what are you doing? Okay. Then it dawned on me that if this guy could...
Guys, download it on iTunes.
No one's gonna be watching this far. We're an hour in. No one's gonna be watching this.
You don't know that. They might put us in.
I realized I made a huge mistake and started looking for a way out of the situation. So I told the guys we should split up, saying if we did, we'd be harder to catch. But Freeze said we should stick together. He said we could travel around the country and have crazy adventures, maybe even join the circus. What is this?
That's why Duolingo sends helpful notifications to users to remind them to practice, practice, practice. But for some users, we found that's just not effective enough.
Oh no.
That's why we're excited to launch a brand new premium feature, Duolingo Push. Since Duolingo can be used wherever
Billy
you are,
seemed to like that
now
idea,
Duolingo Push
too.
can
But then
remind
two
you
of them
wherever
started arguing
you
who should
are.
get the money for the movie rights to their story if it became famous. I decided to use the opportunity to try and slip away, but when I found... What the...
Or out on the town.
Okay. But when I turned to leave, a group of vans appeared out of nowhere.
Himself will show up
Mom was in
anytime
the
you
lead
might
van,
be in
and the
danger
Girl
of
Scouts were in the
breaking your
vehicles right
streak.
behind her. There's a second where I thought Freya might try to make a latch-ditch attempt to escape. But after all this big talk about life on the run, he totally found pieces. I thought Mom would be really mad, but she seemed relieved. She wanted to know what I was thinking running away like that. I figured Billy was going down no matter what, and there's no use in all three of us getting in trouble, so I pinned the whole thing on him. I guess I felt a little bad, but to be fair, stealing the Thin Mints was his idea. I don't know much about community service. They're gonna attack on Billy's sentence, but by the time he's done, I plan to be attending college halfway across the country. The craziest thing of all is that Mom found us in the first place. When she got me that GPS chip for the pig, she also got one for me. So I've been walking around with one of those things attached to my shoelace for the past 2 months without even knowing it. And when I disappeared from the park, Mom used her phone to figure out where I was. Now's not the time to complain about Mom being overprotective, though, because if she hadn't come to my rescue, I might have ended up traveling in a circus with Fru and Billy. Are you gonna go back into his room? No. Okay. Oh, my neck hurts. God.
Yeah, I bet it does.
I haven't moved it at all for like the past hour, and it hurts. But still, so much for Mom going electronic. If Dad was on my case before, he's 100 times worse now. After the town park incident last weekend, it's pretty obvious he thinks I can't be trusted. And whenever he's home, he likes to have me and Grandpa in the same room so he can keep an eye on both of us. Good job skipping all the cutscenes. I wish I never knew about the webcam, though, because it's got me really paranoid. There could be actually multiple cameras in the house. I'm pretty sure there's one in Manny's stuffed duck, because his eyes always seem to follow me. If there's not a camera in there, then I've been making a pretty big fool of myself the past few days. Luckily, Mom took Dad on the airport to go on a business... Epic gamer. This morning when I was brushing my teeth, I made sure to put the toothpaste cap back on the tube, the way Dad always tells me. But my fingers were slippery and I dropped the cap down the sink. You can stand on it. Stand on it. Just stand on it. You should. Just jump on it, Dumbo. I knew Dad had a bunch of do-it-yourself books on plumbing in the basement, and I figured there'd be some step-by-step instructions to show exactly how to fix this sort of thing. I couldn't make heads or tails of the diagrams in the book, so I took my best shot at it. There's a plastic tube underneath the sink, and I figured the toothpaste cap must be somewhere inside. You can play that video game if you push circle. You just go up to the TV. You just gotta wait there for a bit.
Is this like Oregon Trail?
Yeah, you just gotta wait there. It should come on about like 30 seconds. No, I'm not. I soaked it with as much water as I could with the towels that were in the bathroom. Then I ran down the stairs and to get some more out of the laundry room.
I just clipped through the pillow. You can see the towel pop.
But when I got down to the kitchen, I realized I had a bigger problem. I told Grandpa where the water is coming from, but didn't really seem too concerned. He said the only real damage would be the water stain on the kitchen ceiling. I'm glad Grandpa thought that it was no big deal, but I'm sure Dad would definitely see the situation differently. I begged Grandpa to help me out of this mess, and he told me he would. Grandpa said there's a special... Yeah, I lied.
Well, I'm playing it right now.
Dad, that sounded great. He grabbed Dad's keys when we got in the car, and when we backed out of the driveway, Grandpa clipped a trash can.
Communists, they don't matter. Their lives don't matter. Die, die, die. Americans.
Well, was that a GameCube? You can't go up there. You need an ice hat to go up there. You need the ice hat to go up there. Yeah, see, that's what the ice platform right there is. By the time we got out of our neighborhood, he seemed to be getting the hang of it, but I was still pretty concerned when we got in the ramp for the highway. Luckily, there weren't a lot of people driving at that time of day, and the hardware store was a few miles away. The weird thing was, all the signs along the side of the road were facing the wrong way, which is really confusing. Oh, you gotta go up, there's a stairway. There's a stairway, and no, you can't break those. No, he needed the explosive hat to do that. Go up the stairs, and you have to go in the kitchen. Go in the kitchen. And then you go up to that telescope and you pick the levels. Well, I'm sorry, you said you wanted to know what... No, you can't. I just want to finish this. Our grandpa slammed on the brakes, and the car did a 180 before coming to... We're coming to a complete stop in the breakdown lane. It's a miracle we didn't get hit, and our near-death experience really shook both of us up. Suddenly a water stain on the kitchen ceiling didn't seem like such a big deal anymore. Me and Grandpa agreed we should just go back home and call it a day. At least now we were heading in the right direction, but when Grandpa put the car in drive, it rolled a few feet and then conked out. At first I thought something must have happened to the car when Grandpa slammed on the brakes, but when I looked at the dashboard I realized we were out of gas. Roger used the car last night when he went to work, and of course he didn't refuel it. You can. I don't know if you're supposed to. No. You need an ice hat.
No, because that's ice yarn.
Yeah, you need
No, you need the ice yarn to get the ice hat.
Yeah, but you get the ice yarn with an ice hat.
That sounds pretty stupid.
You can use the yarn to craft other things. It doesn't need to be specifically an ice hat.
I'm not Christian.
Grab that present over there. The thing flashing. The other way. No. No. They're called pawns, the libtard. A group of people were walking toward the car along the side of the road. At first I was excited. No, that's a box. It's in that corner right there. It was a community service gang, and they were coming my way. When they got closer, I saw that one of them was that guy Bill. I'm surprised he actually got up there. Also, you can jump on top of umbrellas or whatever. When they got closer, I saw that one of them was the guy Billy, and thought about making a run for it, but I didn't want to take my chances out in the open. I did the only other thing I could think of, which is to lock the doors and hide. There aren't a whole lot of good hiding places in a car, though, so I thought the best I could do was to get down underneath the dashboard and stay really still. Then I held my breath and prayed. It took forever for those guys to get to the car, and when they finally did, they said it was a good place to take their lunch break. Eventually, the community service stopped eating and moved on, but they left a huge mess, which goes to show they weren't taking their highway cleanup duties too seriously. Once I was sure they were gone, I got back up, but both of my legs had fallen asleep from being in such an awkward position for that long. So I grabbed the handle on the center of the console to pull myself up. But the car moved, and when it did, I had accidentally shifted the car into neutral and started to roll forward. The car was picking up speed, so I stepped on the brake, but it locked up, and the car just kept going. I was afraid I was going to roll out into traffic and get hit. Then I saw Grandpa walking toward me in breakdown lane, and I panicked. I jerked the steering wheel left and just barely missed Grandpa. The problem was, the car rolled right into a ditch, and that's where it stayed until Mom came 2 hours later with the towing company. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have left that toothpaste cap in the drain. I begged Mom not to tell Dad what happened to the car when he got home. But she said the fender was all banged up, so he would find it. The class trip to the Hardscrabble farm starts today and goes for a whole week. I'd figure by the time I get back, Dad will have cooled down at least a little. So I told Mom I changed my mind about the trip, and she was excited. She called the school to make sure I could still go, and luckily there were a handful of spaces left in the cabins. Wow, you're just killing the entire town of Mafia? You're not even anywhere near where the mission is. Switch to your normal hat. With the L1. No, you hold L1. I know, I'm not dumb. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know if you've ever played a video game before. He's schizophrenic. You have to chase after him. I went through my book bag and found the packing list, and they sent home last month to check what I needed to bring. It was too late to go out and shop for all that stuff. Luckily, Mom said... You have to climb it. Wait, you're going the wrong way, actually. You have to go in those pipes. No, yeah, you're dumb. You have to go in the pipes. And you have to jump from there. No. Yeah, you have to go up there. It was too late to go out and shop for all that stuff. Luckily, Mom found Roderick's duffel bag in the garage, which he had never unpacked from when he went to a trip a few years ago. Inside were some hiking boots, a raincoat, a canteen, bug spray, and a bunch of other things on the list, which was great. But the bag reeked because there was a half-eaten ham sandwich in there, which had something growing off of it. I was a little worried about the food situation at the camp, and I was tempted to try and sneak a few candy bars in, but I wasn't sure what the penalty was if he got caught. So I decided to just hide them in my sock drawer so nobody would eat them while I was gone. I wasn't willing to take any risk when it came to my comfort, though. I stuffed 3 whole containers of freshies into Roderick's bag, even though that meant I couldn't fit the raincoat. I buried the freshies at the bottom of the bag because I didn't want Mom to know I was taking them. Mom says baby wipes are too expensive for everyone to use on a regular basis, and they're reserved for Manny. See, this is the main reason I want to be rich when I'm older. When I have a ton of money, I can buy as many baby wipes as I can. Take the timepiece, Dumbo. No! Oh my god. But until I have money of my own, I'll have to keep raiding Manny's supply. When I was just about ready to leave for the trip, Grandpa gave me a book he said might come in handy. Grandpa said the book belonged to him as a kid, and he gave it to Dad when he was my age. Now he wanted me to have it. It looked a little outdated for me, but I didn't want to hurt Grandpa's feelings, so I told him I'd take it with me and read it the first chance I got. Stop. Just grab the timepiece. Just grab the timepiece. There's just enough room to fit my bag, and I figured the more stuff I piled onto the freshies, the better.
What the heck? Why did it push me out?
What the heck? What is going on? You broke it. You broke the game.
Why did I slide down?
You can cancel the slide with X, Dumbo.
The heck, dude? Why do I keep
Just cancel the slide.
oh my
You
God,
didn't
why
even
did
jump.
I do that?
You didn't even jump.
I canceled.
No, you.
Why do I keep jumping? Oh my God! What
You're
the
pushing X. You're just not a gamer.
Yeah, you're right. The only good games I'm good at are Fortnite. Actually, no, I'm not even good at that. I can't even.
When Mom dropped.
PS4 controller, like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, who can aim with any controller? When Mom dropped me.
Controller.
When Mom dropped me off at school this morning, though, I realized no. Okay, I realized I was seriously unprepared for this trip. Everybody else had a ton of gear, and I felt like I had underpacked. After all my stuff was unloaded onto the bus, the back took up at least half of the space. And that meant we had to double up on the seats, which made a lot of the ride to Hyper Farms feel a lot longer than it should have. When we finally got there and drove through the main entrance, I was pretty relieved, but the last stretch was brutal because it was dirt road. When we got off the bus, a group of kids from another school was just leaving, and they looked like they couldn't be getting out of there soon enough. A kid in the back was holding a handwritten sign that didn't make any sense to me. A couple of classmates seemed pretty freaked out when they saw it. A boy standing next to that.
I'm gonna do push-ups.
All in, all in, all in.
Oh, got him.
That's pretty epic. Apparently, the Scratch guy was a farmer who lived on Hardscrabble Farms a long time ago. But then the country came in and county came in and kicked him off his land. Another kid chimed in to say he heard Silas Scratch went to live in a forest where he survived eating slugs and berries. Then Melinda Harrison said that she heard he went crazy and grew his fingernails really long. See, I could have done with the part about the long fingernails, because that sort of thing really gives me the willies. How many more pages do I got? Oh, it's at 200. Okay, I thought I was getting... I'm at 137 and it's 200 pages. I thought,
Oh my gosh!
boss battle.
Is it only a boss battle, or do I have to do other stuff too?
It's a boss battle. But you have to do other stuff, yeah. You have to sneak in. It's like...
How do I have to sneak? Why do I have to sneak?
Because you have to get into the mafia base. One of our...
I have to use the first thing I got.
No, you have to go in the cauldron. It won't kill you, I promise. One of our chaperones, Mrs. Healy, said that when his class went to Hardscrabble Farms, a kid named Frankie came across Silas Scratch's shack in the woods. After Frankie saw it, he was never the same. Anyone who hadn't heard of Silas Scratch before knew about him now.
You sound like Yoshi jumping.
Not really. I found the whole Silas Scratch thing kind of disturbing.
Oh, I guess
I guarantee you, if anyone told me there was a deranged farmer prowling the grounds of Hardscrabble Farms, I would have just stayed home and taken my chances with Dad. After, no, you have to sneak in.
I just
No, you didn't. You pushed a button.
no. I pressed 2.
You pushed one button.
I pushed 3.
Mustache girl pushed the other one.
I had to press the circle. I had to press the square, and I had to press the X.
I meant the button in the game, Dumbo.
No, I no, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. Theater. Go up to that to the purple guy. What? He just disappeared. Dude, you broke it. Oh my God, he's back. What is this?
Did I break his walking animation?
No. What did he?
What the hell?
How did he break the game this quickly?
Record it.
There's a share button. Just double tap the share button. Just double tap it really quickly. Now you're recording. And then double click it again to stop it.
I know. How do you post it? Well, I started recording again.
Okay, then stop the recording. I'll post it. Okay, okay, I'll post it. Where's my gallery?
Why'd you delete Hitman? Just the 14 one. Because if you have one IQ,
I guarantee you, if anyone told me there, Twitter.
no, yeah, sure. Hashtag PS4 shirt. Bro, moment. Nick, bro, moment. No, delete PS4 shirt. Delete it. Send for my PS4. Okay. Sure.
Oh wait, it's linked to the wrong Twitter account. Crap. I'll send it later. When I'm done reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid. After we were done unloading the bus, we brought our stuff down to the main lodge, which is a giant log cabin with a bunch of long tables inside.
Is this intentional? Is this what's happening?
No, I don't think so.
Well, let's walk out and then let's go back.
You can't walk out. No, you can't. You have to finish it. Go up to the purple guy. Oh my God, Carson. No, you're. I'm just gonna stop talking.
No.
After we were done unloading the bus, we brought our stuff down to the main lodge, which is a giant log cabin with a bunch of long tables inside. The person in charge was Miss Grazino, and once everyone sat down, she gave a speech about the camp rules. There were a bunch of them, but the one she said was most important was that the boys and girls aren't allowed to visit each other's cabins for any reason. Miss Grazino said that her 19th year came in Crabtree Farms. She said that she wasn't going to put any more nonsense from it. That's a mod. I don't know why there aren't any mods on console. Then she said the chaperones go through everyone's bags to make sure nobody is trying to sneak any junk food or electronics. A few kids got busted with the stuff in their bags, like Mike Murrow's about a pound of Swedish fish in his backpack. Got trying to snuggle in the cookie. I was really glad I left those candy bars back at home, but I was a little worried that chaperones might confiscate my baby wipes. Once Mr. Jones caught a whiff of my bag, though, he didn't want to go digging any further. After that, we had lunch, which was hot dogs, baked beans, and stuffed peppers. There weren't any other choices, so if we didn't like any of those things, we were out of luck. When lunch was over, the chaperones told us to scrape our leftovers into a giant pot. Just walk up to. Oh no, you have to get. You have to go up to the top. You have to go upstairs. Carson, you have to go upstairs. No! Oh my god. You have dumb. You have dumb brain. Okay, fine. You could figure it out on your own. You can figure it out on your own. I asked Mr. Healy why we have to put our leftovers into a pot instead of the trash can. He said at Hartscale Farms, no. If you get the key, you're not going to be able to escape. You're not going to get the key, Carson. You have to go upstairs. Yes, there is. Someone's smoking. Mom had actually wanted to volunteer as a chaperone last minute, but she wasn't comfortable leaving Manny and Roger with Grandpa. That kind of stinks though, because she could have fed me inside information from the girls inside a camp. You don't stand a chance with Lauren, but Chloe. Yeah. This is the mafia thing. You have to climb up. You see where those, you have to follow those green emeralds up there. That's what you have to do. Okay, fine. Us guys stayed back in the cafeteria to get our cabin assignments. Most of the groups were kids who hang out with each other at school, but each cabin seemed to have one kid who didn't belong. School must have decided to spread the troublemakers out so there wouldn't be more than one in any cabin. The only group that had more than one troublemaker was Mr. Nudge's group. Mr. Nudge worked as a printing guy, so I guess they figured he can handle it. Since I registered late, I got put with a group of leftovers, which included Lauren. Avoid the rats, Dumbo. No. Okay. You have to get those buckets. You have to get one of those buckets. Just get one of those. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was glad I got assigned to the same cabin as Riley, but I wasn't happy. Poppy's father was a chaperone. Mr. Jefferson has really been a big fan of mine. And I wasn't looking forward to being cooped up with him for a whole week. It was pretty clear whoever had our cabin allowance didn't bother cleaning up themselves. One kid in my group, Jillian Trimble, seemed to be taking the situation pretty hard because his lip started to quiver as soon as we walked in the door. I was kind of surprised Jillian decided to come on this trip because I'm guessing he's never been away from his parents overnight before. Jillian was always the kid who made the big scene every morning during the drop-off time at school. Once at second grade, he made a strong grip on his mom that the vice principal had to come and peel them apart. I figured Julian decided to go on this trip on his own, but when I remembered the scene at the school this morning, I started to wonder if his mom actually tricked him into it. Everybody started picking out their bunks, and that's when I found out why everyone had such big bags. I just assumed the bedding would be taken care of, but I guess that was too much to hope for at a place like this. The closest thing I had to a pillow was my hoodie, which already smelled like Roger's ham sandwich. It was hard to find on a mattress without any weird stains on it. I picked a top bunk because I couldn't risk getting stuck underneath Julian in case he went to bed. Unfortunately, you have to pick him up, and you have to take him to the button. And then you drop it on the button. Mr. Jefferson showed us how to form two lines facing each other and make a net by grabbing each other's wrists. So when Jeffrey Swanson got on the platform, we thought we were ready for him. But Jeffrey is a big boss, and his weight made Riley and Gareth Grimes collapse and smash into each other. Gareth was missing one of his front teeth, and everyone got down on their hands and knees to look for it. But Emilio Mendeja... Emilio. You have to go back there, I think. Yeah. Hot girl, or mustache girl should be there. And talk to her. Or not. But we couldn't pull out the two sides of Riley's forehead because he was real large in there. Mr. Jefferson called his wife to come pick Riley up and take him to get her checked out. I don't know if she ended up going to a doctor or a dentist because I have no idea what you can do for that sort of thing. So Mr. Jefferson had stuck chaperoning a bunch of kids who weren't his. He had to do all these exercises that were supposed to teach us how to work together as a team. But all they really did was show us how bad we were at it. We had one activity called the Bucket Brigade, where we had to make a relay line and bring water from the river all the way to our cabin. Whatever. If they touch you, they're gonna kidnap you, and you die instantly. Yeah, so don't let them touch you. I'm not lying. Yeah, I lied. But we spilled so much water along the way that by the time we got to our cabin, there was almost nothing left but the metal that we were supposed to fill. We realized if we were going to ever finish this activity, we needed to find a better way to fill the tub, so we wrung out our sweaty clothes. After that, we did an activity where we had to tie our wrists together with scarves and go through an obstacle course made of ropes. But when it comes to physical activities, our group was pretty hopeless. After the rope course, we couldn't untie the scarves because we knotted them too tight. After that, it wasn't good because Timmy the Ames had to use the bathroom in the cabin. By the end of the day, everyone was totally worn out, and I was really glad Mr. Jefferson told us it was time for dinner. A meal with chicken patties, corn on the cabin stew. I passed on the stew, and I was really glad. I was really glad I did when I saw Jordan pull an entire taco shell out of his bowl. Who knows what year that thing's from. After dinner, we went back to the cabin. Mr. Jefferson said that since we had been in the woods, we needed to check one another for tricks. Each person was responsible for his buck management, and I had Jefferson. Well, Mr. Jefferson got a lot of hair, and I wasn't going to go poking through it. For all I knew, there could be a whole colony of ticks living in there. Everybody's always saying how great the outdoors are, but there's all sorts of creepy crawlers that you need to worry about. Only 50 more pages. I used to play in the woods all the time until I saw the last spider. But in a place like Hardscrabble Farms, there are just many bugs inside and outside. Some of the beetles buried the kids here at dinner, and then we had to go in there and sit there and moved. Dorian found a tick on the back. Doran found a tick on the back of Julian's neck, and everyone freaked out about it. But Mr. Jefferson said Julian would be fine, and he took it down to the nurse. The second Mr. Jefferson and Julian left, the rest of the guys in my cabin went totally nuts. I stayed out of everyone's way because I didn't want to be the fifth person in my group to get seen by the nurse for the first day. By the time Mr. Jefferson got back, the cabin was a wreck and everyone was filthy. I guess nobody has ever cleaned the floors in this place because when the guys were done rolling around, they were covered in dirt and hair. As a punishment for trashing the cabin, Mr. Jefferson made us go to bed early, and he let me and everyone, even though I had nothing to do with it. And that's how we ended up going to bed while it was still light out on the first night. Mr. Jefferson woke up everybody at the crack of dawn and said we all needed to take showers before breakfast. That's when it occurred to me that there wasn't actually a shower in our bathroom. The shower was on the outside of the cabin. And when the water was in the metal tub we filled our bucket with the blood yesterday. I seemed to be the only one who remembered what was in the tub because everyone got in line to take our turn. Not only was the water and sand hairy, but it was apparently cold too. Carson, can you give me the PlayStation controller? Can you give me the PlayStation controller? Okay. I came prepared though. I definitely wasn't going to be taking any outdoor showers on this trip. But I could still keep myself clean. Oh, hold the PlayStation button. And then use the D-pad or whatever. Exit out of hat in time, Elsa. Exit out of hat in time. Just push the circle. Again. No, you don't. You clearly don't. No.
Oh my god, he's freaking.
After we cleaned up from breakfast, Mr. Garzano told us the plan for the rest of the day. She said we were gonna do this. We're gonna do the same types of things. And the chores done. My kids growing my farm like this. No, stop. Which isn't. Miss Graham said that the only kid working farm. Blah blah blah. My group started off in the barn, and our job was to move a hold of hay bales from one end of the building to the other. And it was seriously hard. We had a lot of respect for kids who had to do that kind of moves every day. And we were finished. Everyone felt a huge sense of accomplishment. As we were leaving to move on to the next day, Miss Nudge's group came into the barn and told us their team was job to do the hay bales to the other side, was where they was to begin with. See, you shouldn't do that kind of stuff to a kid. When I was in first grade, my teacher told us he was sending me on a secret mission and gave her no dead. Why is this playlist a thing? And every day after that, my teacher handed me another note to deliver. Well, one day I got curious what was in the blank note and opened one up, but it was blank inside. It turns out Mama told my teacher she was worried about my self-esteem, and the whole secret mission thing was just a way to make me feel important. So if anyone wants to know why I have a hard time taking work seriously, that's how it started. Our team spent the other stations. We painted a fence, repaired a stone wall, and stacked the firewood outside the main lodge. I'll tell you, when I'm older, I'm gonna buy a farm. I don't know. I couldn't find the original. That's all I could find. Why is can't The rock had some scrapes on it, and Amelia said the.
What are you saying?
Okay, I don't trust you at all. I don't trust you. Somebody came to saw Silla scratch in the woods, and somebody else said they saw him on the other side of camp at the exact same time. Just gonna skip a little bit through this. I'm just gonna skip to the last page of the book because I don't want to read this anymore. I was about to load my bag onto the bus, but then Dad told me I could ride with him. That was way better than sitting on someone's lap, so I took Dad on his offer. On the way out, there's a bus coming on the whole crop of kids. I scribbled a message to warn them about what they were in, and I figured it was the least I could do. Great, it's finally over.
It's finally over. You skipped the last page on like 3 minutes.
I skipped like 20 pages. I'm not gonna. I've been reading for over an hour and 40 minutes.